Ever get overwhelmed trying to understand a really long video?
Yeah.
Like one of those hours-long lectures or conference talks?
Absolutely.
It can feel pretty daunting.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, today we're diving into some research that's aiming to make that whole process
Okay.
a lot easier.
I like easier.
It's called Video Recap,
Video recap.
and it uses AI to
Right.
create super smart captions for videos of any length.
Interesting. It's a really interesting approach because it actually mimics how our brains work
Oh, okay.
when we try to understand complex actions.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Sure.
How does our brain
Well,
approach this kind of task?
think about watching a cooking show, for example.
Okay.
First, you see all these individual actions.
Right.
Someone's chopping veggies,
Right.
stirring a pot,
Yeah.
maybe adding spices.
Okay.
You're taking in those basic steps.
Right, so that's like the first layer of understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you start to see how those actions fit together into bigger chunks.
Okay.
Like prepping the ingredients,
Yeah.
cooking the main dish,
Okay.
preparing a sauce.
Gotcha.
And finally, you understand the overall goal.
Yeah.
They're making a delicious meal.
So it's like those Russian nesting dolls.
Yes.
Each step is nested inside a bigger one
Exactly.
until you get to the main idea.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And that's essentially how Video Recap works.
Okay.
It breaks down the video into these different levels of detail.
Got it.
It starts by creating captions for really short clips.
Okay.
Just a few seconds long.
Okay, so it's starting small.
Yes.
Like our brain focusing on those individual actions.
Exactly.
Then what?
Then it uses those captions to generate descriptions for longer segments, maybe a few minutes each.
Okay.
It's basically connecting those small actions into a sequence,
Right.
like recognizing that chopping veggies is part of prepping the ingredients.
And finally, it uses all of that information to create a summary
Okay.
for the entire video.
So just like our brain figuring out
Yep.
that the ultimate goal is to cook a complete meal.
Exactly.
That's amazing. But traditional video captioning tools already exist, right?
Right.
Why is this so different?
Those traditional models are great for short clips, like the ones you see on social media.
Right.
But when you try to apply them to a 2-hour lecture,
Yeah.
they really struggle. They get bogged down in the details and miss the big picture.
So it's like trying to understand a novel by only reading individual sentences.
Yes.
You might pick up some vocabulary,
Uh,
but you'll miss the plot,
right.
the characters, the whole point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
Sure.
trying to analyze hours of footage with those older models
Okay.
is incredibly computationally expensive.
Oh, really?
It takes a lot of processing power and time.
So Video Recap's approach is actually more efficient.
Much more.
Wow. Okay.
It avoids having to analyze every single frame of a long video,
Right.
which saves a ton of time and resources.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how do you even train an AI to think this way? It seems like there's a huge difference in the amount of information
Yeah.
available for those tiny clips versus a summary of an entire video.
That's where curriculum learning comes in.
Curriculum learning.
Think about how we teach kids.
Okay.
We don't start them off writing essays, right?
Right.
We begin with the alphabet,
Uh-huh.
then move to words, sentences, and eventually paragraphs.
Okay.
Video recap is trained in stages just like that.
So it's like giving the AI training wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
You start with the basics
Yes.
and gradually increase the complexity as it learns.
Exactly. First, it learns from those short clips, mastering the atomic actions.
Okay.
Then it tackles the longer segments, learning to weave those smaller captions into a coherent story.
Right.
And finally, it's ready to create a summary for the whole video, building on all the skills it's learned along the way.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all fits together.
Good.
It's like the AI is leveling up. It's understanding step by step.
Precisely.
Okay.
But even with curriculum learning, there's still a challenge.
What's that?
There just isn't as much training data readily available for those longer summaries.
I see.
So the researchers had to get creative.
Ooh, this is where it gets really interesting.
It does.
What did they do?
They turn to what are called large language models,
Okay.
or LLM.
LLMs.
You've probably heard of things like ChatGPT,
Of
right?
course. Those things seem to be everywhere these days.
Well, LLMs are the technology behind those tools.
Okay.
And they're really good at understanding language and structure because they've been trained on massive amounts of text data.
So the researchers used these LLMs to help train Video Recap.
Exactly. They used LLMs to create pseudo-summaries from those shorter captions.
Right.
It's like giving the AI extra practice material. Right.
But instead of finding it in the real world,
Yeah.
they're using another AI to create it.
Wait, so they use one AI to help train another AI?
Yes.
That's wild. I'm really curious to hear how they tested all of this.
Okay.
Do we have time to get into that?
We do. To test video recap, they needed a data set with captions at all 3 levels.
Okay.
Short clips,
Yep.
longer segments, and full video summaries.
Right.
So they took Ego 4D,
Ego 4D.
which is a huge data set of egocentric videos.
Okay.
Think footage from GoPro cameras.
Gotcha.
And they manually added annotations with summaries for thousands of those videos.
Yeah.
Some of these videos were up to 2 hours long.
Wow, that's a lot of data.
It is.
So, did it work? Did Video Recap actually live up to the hype?
Well, the results are pretty impressive.
Okay.
Video Recap outperformed all the existing models,
Really?
especially when it came to summarizing those longer videos.
Wow.
It really shines when you give it a complex, lengthy video to analyze. That's fantastic. It's really proving that this hierarchical approach,
Yes.
the one that mirrors how our own brains work,
Right.
is the way to go.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about creating summaries either.
Oh,
They also tested Video Recap on something called Video QA,
video QA.
which stands for Video Question Answering.
Okay.
Basically, it's like asking the AI a question about the video,
Right.
and it has to find the answer within the footage.
Ooh, like what happened after the chef finished chopping the onions?
Exactly.
Okay.
And they use another data set called Ego Schema for these video QA tests.
Ego schema.
It's specifically designed to test how well an AI understands the actions and events in a video.
So how did Video Recap do on this more challenging task?
It excelled.
Really?
It was able to answer questions accurately,
Wow.
even when they involved understanding complex sequences of actions.
That's impressive.
This suggests that it's not just creating surface-level summaries. It's actually developing a deep understanding of the content.
Okay, this is all very impressive from a technical standpoint.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back down to earth.
Okay.
How could this technology actually be used in the real world? What's the practical impact here?
That's the exciting part. Imagine you're a student trying to catch up on a long lecture recording
Okay.
before an exam.
Right.
Instead of having to watch the whole thing,
Yeah,
you could use Video Recap to quickly get a summary of the key points.
that would be amazing.
Or maybe you're a researcher sifting through hours of security footage,
Okay.
looking for a specific event.
Uh-huh.
Video Recap could pinpoint the exact moment you need to see,
Wow.
saving you tons of time.
Those are great examples.
Yeah,
It's like having a personal assistant who can watch videos for you
exactly.
and give you the Cliff's notes.
Precisely.
And the potential applications go even further.
They do.
Think about accessibility.
Absolutely.
Video Recap could make videos more accessible
Yeah.
for people with visual impairments or those who struggle to process large amounts of visual information.
Yeah.
It could even be used to automatically generate audio descriptions of videos,
Right.
making them more inclusive for everyone.
For sure.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's not just about saving time.
Right.
It's about making information more accessible and equitable.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget about those of us who are just chronically busy
Yes.
and overwhelmed with information.
Too much information.
Video Recap could be a lifesaver
Oh, yeah.
for busy professionals who need to stay up to date on industry trends
For sure.
or journalists who are trying to quickly process a lot of footage.
Absolutely.
It really does seem like a game changer.
It does.
It's like having that superpower we were talking about earlier.
Uh-huh.
The ability to instantly absorb the key information from any video.
It's certainly a powerful tool with the potential to revolutionize how we interact with video content
Yeah.
as this technology continues to evolve and improve. I think we'll see even more creative and impactful applications emerge.
This has been fascinating.
It has.
But as with any new technology,
Right.
I imagine there are some potential downsides
Yeah.
or challenges that come along with these amazing benefits.
You're right. It's important to acknowledge those as well.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll dig into after a quick break.
Okay, sounds good.
Stay tuned. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about this new data set the researchers created to test Video Recap.
Right.
Remember, it uses videos from Ego 4D, which are basically videos of everyday activities,
Right.
and adds in those all-important summaries at 3 levels.
Okay.
Short clips,
Yeah.
longer segments,
Uh-huh.
and the full video summary.
Right. So they've got this super smart AI trained with curriculum learning.
Yeah.
They've got this massive data set for testing.
Right.
It sounds like all the pieces are in place for something groundbreaking.
It is pretty exciting stuff.
So spill the beans. How did Video Recap perform?
Well, the results are pretty impressive.
Okay, good.
Video Recap outperformed all the existing models.
Really?
Especially when it came to summarizing those longer videos. It
Interesting.
really shines when you give it a complex, lengthy video to analyze.
That's fantastic. It's really proving that this hierarchical approach,
Yes.
the one that mirrors how our own brains work,
Right.
is the way to go.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about creating summaries either.
Sure.
They also tested Video Recap on something called Video QA,
Video QA.
which stands for Video Question Answering.
Okay.
Basically, it's like asking the AI a question about the video.
Right.
And it has to find the answer within the footage.
Ooh. Like
Never
what
said that.
happened after the chef finished chopping the onions?
And they used another data set called Ego Schema for these Video QA tests.
Okay.
It's specifically designed to test how well an AI understands the actions and events in a video.
So how did Video Recap do on this more challenging task?
It excelled. It was able to answer questions accurately,
Wow.
even when they involved understanding complex sequences of actions.
Okay.
This suggests that it's not just creating surface-level summaries.
Uh-huh.
It's actually developing a deep understanding of the content.
Okay, this is all very impressive from a technical standpoint.
It is.
But let's bring it back down to earth.
Sure.
How could this technology actually be used in the real world? What's the practical impact here?
That's the exciting part.
Okay.
Imagine you're a student
Yeah.
trying to catch up on a long lecture recording before an exam.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of having to watch the whole thing,
Right?
you could use Video Recap to quickly get a summary of the key points.
That would be amazing.
Or maybe you're a researcher
Okay.
sifting through hours of security footage looking for a specific event.
Right, yeah.
Video Recap could pinpoint the exact moment you need to see,
Wow, that would save so much time.
saving you tons of time.
Those are great examples. It's like having a personal assistant who can watch videos for you and give you the Cliff Notes.
Exactly.
Right.
And the potential applications go even further.
Okay.
Think about accessibility.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Video Recap could make videos more accessible for people with visual impairments
Right.
or those who struggle to process large amounts of visual information.
Exactly.
It could even be used to automatically generate audio descriptions of videos,
Wow.
making them more inclusive for everyone.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's not just about saving time. It's about making information more accessible and equitable.
Absolutely.
Right.
And let's not forget about those of us who are just chronically busy and overwhelmed with information.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Video Recap could be a lifesaver for busy professionals who need to stay up to date on industry trends.
Absolutely.
Or journalists who are trying to quickly process a lot of footage.
It really does seem like a game changer.
It does.
It's like having that superpower we were talking about earlier, the ability to instantly absorb the key information from any video.
It's certainly a powerful tool
Yeah.
with the potential to revolutionize how we interact with video content.
Right.
As this technology continues to evolve and improve,
Yeah.
I think we'll see even more creative and impactful applications emerge.
This conversation has been so insightful.
Good, I'm glad.
I feel like I have a much deeper understanding not only of Video Recap itself, but also of the broader implications of AI in our lives.
I think it's important to have these conversations and
Yeah.
approach these advancements with a critical yet optimistic eye.
Well said. Any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
As AI continues to evolve,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be increasingly important to foster a mindset of lifelong learning.
Right.
Technologies like Video Recap can help us process information more efficiently,
Uh-huh.
but it's up to us to use that knowledge wisely
Right.
and continue to seek out new perspectives and understanding.
That's a great takeaway. So to our listeners, as you explore these new AI tools, remember to stay curious, keep learning, and keep diving deep. And that's a wrap for this episode of The Deep Dive. Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We've been exploring Video Recap, this AI that can create those hierarchical captions and summaries for videos,
Right.
no matter how long they are.
And we've covered a lot of ground
Yeah.
from how it mirrors the way our own brains process information to some really compelling real-world applications.
It really
It's
is.
exciting stuff.
It is exciting stuff.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up,
Okay.
I think it's important to touch on some of the potential challenges
Sure.
or downsides
Right.
that come with this type of technology.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true.
I understand.
What are some things we should be mindful of
Well,
as this technology continues to develop?
you're absolutely right. Like
Yeah.
any tool,
Uh-huh.
video recap has the potential to be used in ways
Right.
that could be problematic. One thing that comes to mind
Yeah.
is the possibility of misuse.
Okay.
It's important to remember that summaries,
Yeah.
no matter how well crafted,
Right.
are still just a condensed version of the original material.
So you're saying there's a risk of people relying solely on the AI's interpretation,
Yeah, that's one concern.
missing out on the nuances or
Yeah, yeah.
complexities
Right.
of the full video.
Think about it like this. If you only ever read Spark Notes,
Yeah.
you might get the gist of a classic novel,
Right.
but you'd miss out on the beauty of the language,
Uh-huh.
the character development,
Yeah.
the richness of the original text.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
It's a reminder that AI tools like Video Recap should be seen as a complement to our own understanding,
Yes,
not a replacement for it.
precisely.
Okay.
They can be incredibly helpful for getting a quick overview
Uh-huh.
or identifying key points,
Yeah.
but it's crucial to maintain our own critical thinking skills.
Right.
And engage with the source material directly whenever possible.
So it's all about finding that balance, right?
Yes, I think so.
Using AI to enhance our learning and efficiency, but not letting it become a crutch.
Right.
That prevents us from fully engaging with the world.
Exactly. It's about using these tools thoughtfully and responsibly,
Uh-huh.
recognizing both their potential benefits and limitations.
This conversation has been so insightful.
Good.
I feel like I have a much deeper understanding, not only of Video Recap itself,
Yeah.
but also of the broader implications of AI in our lives.
It's definitely a rapidly evolving field
It is, yeah,
with a lot to consider.
absolutely. Well, this has been another fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, stay curious, keep learning, and keep diving deep.